Can anybody hear me? Oh, hey. Hi, everyone. There's Jess's. Okay, so, Priestess, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Okay, we're
Okay.
getting somewhere now. Um, so you are present whenever you are ready. We would love to see your beautiful face if you would allow for that. But everyone, this is. Do you just go by Priestess Juju, or how
Uh,
would you like to
go by,
be?
I go by Priestess Journey.
Priestess Journey? Okay. Everyone, this is Priestess Journey, and listen in for the basics of Hoodoo. Thank you, Priestess.
No problem. Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. My name is Priestess Saint Journey is. I own a company called Some Good Juju, and I do a little bit of all of your magical goodness at Some Good Juju. I am traditionally rooted in Hoodoo, so all of my work consists of Hoodoo, psychic mediums, spiritual work, cleansings, healings, blessings, spell work, ritual work, teaching, um, all that good stuff. So that's the basics of what I do. I've been a hoodoo conjure worker for, oh my God, feels like forever. Um, I would say almost 20 years now. I would say I started professionally about 20 years ago. I grew up in the church. My father is a pastor, a preacher. So I'm a PK. And I honestly believe that hoodoo is rooted in Christianity, because that's where I started to see where the magic is. It was in the church. Oils that do certain things, blessing cloths. I learned from my grandmother how to sweep for certain things, how to sweep in certain blessings, how to sweep out negativity in your house. I learned the beauty of how to pray, how to lay hands. I learned the beauty of prayer, and not just prayer to quote unquote Jesus or a specific deity, how to pray to get shit done. So all of those things are in most cases rooted in Christianity. So that's kind of where I learned a lot of my magic, and I had lots of teachers and things along the way. I had teachers in church, I had teachers in the forest, I had lots of elders and lots of people holding my hands along the way. But all right, so that's the basics of me. So let's get into some hoodoos, some root work. So before I start, does anybody have any like specific questions that they have around hoodoo? You can go ahead and put in the chat. Like, do you have anything specific you want to know about hoodoo before I just go on my long spiel? Any specific things anybody want to know? Because there's a lot to get into in terms of hoodoo. I just wanted to make sure that, well, Well, I think it depends on the person, but I will honestly say it's good to find somebody to hold your hand in terms of hoodoo, so you won't feel like you are just stabbing at things in the dark. So it's good to either find a community, a teacher, an elder, find somebody that can hold your hand. And if you can't find that, one of the best ways to do that is to tap into your intuition. You know what I mean? Like one another way to do that is to start an altar. And so let's get an altar work first. Um, Beginning in hoodoo, starting an altar is like key, even though you don't have to. But it does help, and it doesn't have to be anything huge. Okay, and when people start altars, they think it have to be this huge, big, huge production. You have to have all these things, baby. All you need on your altar is a glass of water, okay? Some pictures of your ancestors. And if you don't have that, you can put their names on a piece of paper and put that on the altar. Some fresh flowers, okay? A cigar and some coffee. You could simply start an altar with that. And you can have it very discreet if you need it to be discreet. But you can make this altar as a place where you are communicating with your ancestors. And to go even further than that, you don't even need an altar. Okay, I'll say that because some people I know have spaces where they can't put up an altar, or maybe they're in a shared space, or maybe they're not comfortable with an altar just yet. You know what you can do? When you wake up in the morning, talk to your ancestors, even though you don't know their names. And it's weird because it feels like you're going to be talking to yourself, but essentially you are because your ancestors are you. They live inside of you, right? So when you wake up in the morning, just talk to your ancestors, set that intention. When you wake up in the morning, say, my ancestors, like, good morning, like, I'm listening, I'm here, I'm open. Just talk to them out loud. When you're in the shower, talk to your ancestors. You know what I mean? Like, ask them to give you signs that they are present so that you know that they're present. Make that your intention, like literally every day, and watch the magic happen. Like, your ancestors show up in the form of animals sometimes. Like, if you are driving and you're always seeing this beautiful red bird or this beautiful dragonfly, that could be one of your ancestors. Okay, like your ancestors may come through at your job. Your boss may say something. It could be one of your ancestors speaking through them. You could see something on TV. You may be drawn to a particular color every day. Let's just say you wake up every day and you're feeling like red. That could be your great grandma's favorite color. You have no idea. You know what I mean? Like, so they show up, and it's up to you to actually be sensitive enough to pay attention. So one of the ways to start hoodoo, I would say, is to create an altar. And so it's good that you have one in your bedroom. That's great. Yeah, no. It is okay to have one in your bedroom. Have one in your bedroom. Now, a lot of people speak against that, but because you're not in a structured magical practice. Some of our African traditions have certain rules. The reason why hoodoo is so beautiful is that you do what works for you. And it's all about communication with your ancestors. Your ancestors may have very specific things for you. So there's no real hardcore rules because you got to think about our ancestors. Our ancestors did what they needed to do when they needed to do it. Okay, so if you can only put it in your bedroom and if you feel comfortable doing that, do that. Okay, so go ahead and put it in your bedroom. Now, I'm going to go over some key things to have in your bedroom. And it's cool that you have a self love altar in your bedroom too. Like, self love altar in your bedroom is top tier. If you're married, if you're single, if you're dating, like if you want more love in your life, you want to elevate your love life, your relationship with your husband or your mate, the self love, or just with yourself, like a self love altar in your room is top tier. I keep one in my bedroom as well, and it's very beautiful. I have it very beautiful, and it feels really really good. Okay, I'm gonna come back to the self love altar. But your ancestral altar, I'm going to give you a few key things to have on your altar to start practicing hoodoo. Like I said, you're going to need a white candle. This could be any kind of candle. It could be a tea light candle. It could be a taper candle, a stick candle, one of those white candles in the jars. Like any white candle will do. A cup of fresh water every day. Some pictures of your ancestors. Okay, and if you don't have pictures, that's fine. You can write their names down on a piece of paper and put that on your altar. Fresh flowers on your altar, and you want to refresh those flowers at least once a week. You want to refresh your water every single day, and you want to let your candle burn at least once a day. Okay, and if you want to add other key elements to that along the way, go ahead and do that. But that could be a very basic altar to start working with your ancestors. Now, I want to talk about the purpose of having an altar. The altar is not just to be cute. Like, this is the place that you are going to communicate with your ancestors every day. I always tell people you feed your ancestors so they don't feed on you. That's a great question about replacing food offerings. I never let anything sit on my altar in terms of food no more than 48 hours. Because it's like, would you do that to your loved ones? Like, would you leave food sitting out and have them eat it? Would you leave food sitting out for a week? No, you wouldn't do that. So I never let any food sit on the altar more than 2 days. 2 days tops, because once it starts rotting and molding, you want to get rid of it anyway. So no more than 2 days, and you refresh it. And you don't have to do it every 2 days. I designate a day of the week. So I like to offer food on Sundays because, I grew up, my big mama cooked family meals on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like she fed the community. She fed everybody in the family. So I'm just kind of accustomed to using Sunday. So I cook big Sunday dinners. And that's when I put food on the altar and I leave it on there for 2 days. The best way to dispose of food offerings is I like to put things under a tree. I take things back to nature because that's how I was taught. But I know some people, like if you may live in a place where maybe there's not a lot of nature, I get that too. You can just put it in the trash if you live in a place where there's not a lot of nature around. Um, I will always promote take your offerings to dispose of them, take them out in nature and let it go back to the earth. I'm going to always recommend that first and foremost. But if you don't have the opportunity to do that, putting it in the trash will do just fine. You know what I mean? And before you put it in the trash, you want to make sure that thank it for giving your ancestors nourishment. Because once again, you're literally doing this to offer energy to your ancestors. That's what the point of it is. Your altar is a way station for you and your ancestors. It's a place for you guys to communicate and build your relationship. Okay, so food offerings at least once a week. You want to keep fresh water on there. You want to keep fresh flowers. And you want to make sure that you are visiting your altar at least once a day to do a very small prayer. Like I said, once again, I always tell people if you don't feed your ancestors, they will feed on you. Okay. And so, even a lot of times, if you're having cravings for certain things, they can also be your ancestors' way of saying, hey, like, we would like to have these things because maybe they had those things when they did have physical bodies. So, I'm a vegan. So, when I start craving chicken, I automatically know, like, okay, I need to cook up some chicken and put it on my altar. And once I do that, I feel better. Like the craving is like it's gone. Like it's literally gone. Like so it's like that's a part of like paying attention and being aware of yourself, being aware of your practice, and being aware of what you're doing. So another thing as far as altars, if you are in a shared space, let's just say you can't be open with it. I've seen people use cabinets for offerings. I've seen people use drawers. I've seen people put altars under couches, under beds. Um, I've seen people use bookcases as altars, and you would never know just by looking at it. You just see a candle and some water, you just wouldn't know. There's lots of ways to be discreet if you don't want it to be known that this is what you're doing, or if you're in a shared space. There's a way to make sure it's concealed. Um, Another thing about altars is that you want to make sure that your altar is always clean. Like make sure it's a space that it is sacred space. You want to make sure you clean it. You don't want it to get dusty and old because you should be utilizing as much as possible. So it shouldn't be dusty anyway, but that's a thing because the cleaner that your space is, the better you can communicate with your ancestors in this space. So you want to make sure that your altar space is clean. So those are like the 101 basics of, starting to create a altar to be able to communicate with your ancestors. Now, people can get really, really complicated with their altars, but if you're just starting out, you want to keep it simple. You want to keep it basic. Christina says, can someone that is not a bio relative be considered? Yes, very much so. If the person isn't born in your family, this person is still considered an ancestor. Okay. Very much, and especially so if you feel connected to this particular person, go ahead and put that person on your altar. Especially if you feel connected. They don't have to be biologically in your family. Because I believe that us as beautiful melanated people, we're all connected in so many ways. But if you feel connected to this person, go ahead and put that person on your altar. They do not have to be born into your family. It says, is it okay? Miss Tasha says, it is okay to leave crystals or cards on your altar? Yes. So this is where the layers of altar work come in. Can you add other things like crystals? Very much so. If you feel attracted to certain crystals, go ahead and put them on there because you feel good about them. They not only do they add to you, they actually add to the frequency of your ancestors as well. They can benefit from that as well. And it can also strengthen the communication between the both of you. You may have those crystals because they actually put the bug in your ear to go and get it. So it helps to build that relationship and to build that communication. So yes, put crystals on there, put cards on there. I'll say this, the beauty of hoodoo again is if you feel led to, if you feel called to add certain things into your hoodoo practice or put it on your altar, do it. You're feeling that for a reason. Now, don't go willy nilly just putting things on there just to be cute. I know a lot of us like to do things that are aesthetic. We like things to be beautiful. Don't put anything on there just for the sake of it being beautiful. But if you feel called or drawn to put certain things there, do it because that could be your ancestors speaking to you to put certain things on there. I don't care what it is. It could be a lamp. It could be a tube of lipstick, a mirror, whatever it is. If you feel led to do that, do it. Like I said, once again, that's the beauty of hoodoo. Our ancestors did what they need to do when they needed to do it. They didn't care about how it looked as long as they felt drawn to do it. When I saw my grandmother practice, like she did what needed to be done. She used what was at her disposal to use. She wasn't a person that liked to buy a lot of things. But if she had flour in her cabinet, she knew to use this flour for certain things. Okay, she knew to use this baby powder for certain things. You know what I mean? If all she had was bananas on hand and she needed to do something for healing, she was going to use those bananas. Okay? Like the beauty of it is you use whatever you have and whatever you are drawn to use at that time. A lot of this I've been doing, but don't want, but want to make sure I'm not disrespecting them in any way. I get that, and a lot of people will ask those questions. They want to make sure that they are doing it the right way. Um, you want to make sure that you're not disrespecting them. But like I said, this comes with understanding your own intuitive abilities and trusting that and trusting your own feeling about certain things. Let's just say you had a dream about a particular thing. You know, they could have given you that dream, or you just feel innately to do a certain thing. Do it. You know what I mean? That's your call to do that. That's when you start to like really trust your gift, trust your ability, and trust your ancestors. And yes, it does take time to get to the point where you're trusting what you are receiving, but it takes some time and just be okay with it taking some time. Okay. But if you got the feeling, go with it, trust it, do it. It's as simple as that. Um, we went over a lot in terms of altar stuff. Any other very specific things we want to get into? Any other specific questions? Um, Now we are in Hoodoo Heritage Month. Let me say that. Jessica says, now as someone who likes melanin, am I allowed to take this altar advice, or is hoodoo a closed practice? Okay, so this is a huge thing right now. Well, it's always a huge thing. People are always asking, or it's always a conversation. Is hoodoo a closed practice? Now, how I grew up, where I grew up, hoodoo wasn't a closed practice, but it depends on who you ask. You know what I mean? I believe that if you are coming to it from a place of honor, a place of respect, you know what I mean? Like, and if you have melanated people in your life and you work with melanated people in a very genuine way, and you understand the history of hoodoo and why it's practiced, and why it's so sacred to melanated people, feel free. Like, only if it's coming from a place of respect. And I feel that it is. But as long as you are operating on those principles, that you understand the history, you understand the struggle, you understand why it's practiced. You understand some of our saints in hoodoo, some of our heroes in hoodoo. If you understand all of that and you get it, you know what I mean? By all means. Now, there are certain things that are closed practices. But how I was raised, hoodoo was not a closed practice as long as it was coming from a place of honor and respect, So yeah. Um, it is Hoodoo Heritage Month. And I would encourage everybody to like learn about some of our saints, learn about some of the things that your grandmothers and great great grandmothers practice. I made a post today about collard greens. My grandmother always told me that if you want to change your luck and if you want to bring some more prosperity into your life and into your home, cook a pot of collard greens. Cook a pot of collard greens and invite some friends over and feed them food. Feed them greens, feed them rice, and that will change your luck. That's like one of the small tips that I learned. So I want y'all to take that. If you want to change your luck, cook a pot of greens. And when you cooking those pot of greens, you want to cook them things with all the love you can muster. And when I cook my greens, I turn on my granny's favorite song. Okay, I turn on some Mahalia Jackson. Okay, and I be humming and singing and cooking those greens, putting all the spices in. I feel like she be in the kitchen with me, and a lot of times she is. And when I do that, I invite people over. I make the plates, I have the wine, and we eat. Okay, and it does change your luck because one of the things it does, it changes your mood. And because you invited people over too, you invited your best friends over. You invited family over to eat with you. Eating and food and spices is very sacred to hoodoo because that's how we get things done. It's through the food a lot of times. So I said, "Oh, I need some greens." Yes, go get you some greens, okay? So greens for luck, also greens for prosperity. So if you want more money in your life, cook a pot of greens too. Another thing for luck that I made the post about, my grandma used to say, "Turn your underwear inside out." Okay. Turn your underwear inside out when you wake up in the morning. Okay. Because this takes the energy and turns things around for you. So, wearing your underwear inside out when you get up in the morning and cooking a pot of greens at night will change your look. Okay. So, New Year's Day. And a lot of people do that. I do that too. How I was raised too, we do that on New Year's. I can't hear anything either. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to hear anything, um but that is a huge tradition is cooking the collard greens on New Year's. But you could be a little fancy. You don't have to wait to New Year's to actually cook the greens. You can do them at any time. Anytime at all. There's so many things that we do on a daily to add to the grid of hoodoo. A lot of us are already practicing hoodoo and don't know. You know what I mean? Already doing it and don't have any clue. Like just the simple act of sweeping your kitchen is a form of hoodoo. When you add certain things into your mop water, that's hoodoo. Okay. When you are going to work every day and you are saying first of all, when you are speaking that is a prayer, could be a form of hoodoo. Okay. Somebody said definitely add stuff to my mouth water lately. That is a form of hoodoo. Floor washes, adding things to your water. Let me tell you, I'll give you a little tip. If you want to add more of the energy of money to your house, to your household, some of the things that you can add to your mop water is go get you some orange essential oil. Put that in your mop water. Get some basil. Put some basil in a tea. Make a basil tea. Basil and mint. Okay? Boil some water. Put some fresh basil and some mint in there. Strain it. Put that in your mop water and add some orange essential oil. And the key component to that is praying over it before you use it. Pray over it. Pray over it real good. Really speak the language of prosperity, love, and blessings into that mop water and mop your floors. And when you mop your floors, make sure that all your windows and doors are open. Okay? Get that fresh energy flowing through your house and mop your floors and watch the prosperity in your house change. Another thing that you can do in terms of prosperity and having more money flow through your house is all of your doors. Wash down your doors. My mother is the first lady. Okay, let me give you an example of how we practice hoodoo and we don't know. My mother is the first lady. And the last time I was at her house a few months ago, she had me wash all of her doors and her doorknob. Okay, while reading the song. You know what I mean? But in her mind, God and Jesus have instructed her to do this. In my mind, I'm thinking like this is hoodoo. So I'm thinking like this is what I do anyway. So it's like there's certain things that we're already doing that are rooted in hoodoo. So you can wash your doors down. Okay. Even if you just take some water and some salt, this is purifying. Salt is a purifier, salt is a cleanser in hoodoo. We use salt to cleanse and to purify. Wipe your doors, your doorknobs down with water and salt. Okay. Your bedroom door, especially if you are experiencing any kind of like depression or sickness, or you're just going through it, or maybe you're going through a foggy place in life, you're having a hard time, wipe your bedroom door down with some salt and water. Your front door, especially, with some salt and some water. All your doorknob. Okay? Wash yourself down with some salt and water. Make a bath. Baths are huge in hoodoo as well. Blowing sea salt and cinnamon into the home. Yep. Every first of the month, the beginning of the month, the cinnamon blow. Cinnamon blow helps the energy of prosperity blow into your home. And so, going off of what Miss Tasha said, if you haven't heard of the cinnamon blow, what you do is the first of every month, you're going to take some cinnamon. Now, people add different things to theirs, but the basic way of doing this work is you can take some cinnamon, put it into your hand. You want to go outside of your home, facing your front door. Okay. And you want to blow the cinnamon into your front door. And before you do this, you want to make sure you pray over your cinnamon. Okay. You want to pray prosperity, love, beauty, success into this cinnamon and blow it into your front door. And you do this every single month. Now, when I do mine, Tasha, I do cinnamon, I do nutmeg, and I do allspice. You can definitely, the cinnamon and the salt is great, but this adds to the prosperity of your house. Back to the salt and the water, like salt and hoodoo goes hand in hand. Like everybody has salt in their house. If you want to cleanse anything, including your body, you can add salt to your salt water. And if you have kids, if you work in customer service, if you work on a job where you dealing with people every day, a salt bath. Okay, a salt bath is spiritual cleansing as well. Pray over some salt, really, really good. Take that salt, pour it into your bath, pray over your bath, and let that salt cleanse your body. This is a form of hoodoo. This is a form of cleansing your body, cleansing your spirit, and releasing any kind of negativity, releasing any shadows, releasing any kind of funk that you've carried from the day, from the month, from the year. Hoodoo is very simple. Whatever you have at your disposal can be used for any and everything. So, salt. Salt is a great way to start practicing hoodoo and adding salt as a element of cleansing your life, cleansing your home. So have salt on hand. Um, Going back to baths. Baths are another thing that we use in hoodoo to either cleanse or to add certain things to our lives. So, for instance, I'm gonna give you another tip for love. Okay, let's just say you are on the market for a lover, for a mate, for a relationship, or you're already in a relationship. You just want to add more love to that relationship. Some of the things that you can gather are honey. Honey is huge. Okay, and we love us some honey. I know I do. You can take some honey. You can take some sugar, and the amounts are up to you. Okay, you use as much as you, once again, how you feel. Okay, sugar. Okay, you can add a little honey. You can add some rose essential oil to a bath. Okay. I like to add wine to my bath, very sweet wines or champagnes. I add sweet wines and champagnes to a bath for love. Um, so, like I said, honey, sugar, champagne. You can add different fruits. I like to take grapes and strawberries, and what I'll do is I'll juice them and I'll add them to a bath as well because those things are used for love. So baths are also a way to add things into your life or take things away. And when you are using spiritual baths, you want to make sure that you're in a bath no more than a good 11 to 13 minutes. Okay, like that will suffice. But let me give you the tea about spiritual baths though, really really quick, because I don't want nobody going out here doing it wrong. Because even though there's no right or wrong way, but we want to maximize the results, right? So whenever you are using anything magically, you want to pray over it before you use it because it activates the properties of it. So if you're doing a spiritual bath with honey and sugar, champagne, or adding fruits to it, you want to make sure that you pray over those things. And you want to make sure that you take a regular shower first because the regular shower is to clean your body. You want to get your body clean, your physical vessel. You want to get that out of the way. And then you want to go into having your spiritual bath. Okay. So that's how that works. Before you do a spiritual bath, you want to make sure you take a regular shower first. Okay. And if you are doing any spiritual baths to add things to your life, when you get out of the bath, you don't want to dry off. You want to air dry because you want all of those properties of love or blessings to make sure it seeps into your skin. So you don't want to dry it off or wipe it away. Does that make sense, y'all? Okay, hopefully it does. So that's the skinny on spiritual bath. That's something that we do in Hoodoo as well is spiritual bath. There's so many different components to spiritual bath. So I'm trying to give you basic things that you can use. Most people always want to know about love or money or cleansing. Okay, so for love, you can never go wrong with honey. You can never go wrong with sugar. You can never go wrong with strawberries. Okay. What if all you have is a shower and not a tub? Good question. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a big bowl, preferably, a glass or ceramic bowl. If you have it, if not, it's okay. But you want to take this big bowl and you add the ingredients into this bowl, all the ingredients that you're going to use, and then you're going to add your water. You want to add spring water or distilled water, no faucet water. Okay. You want to add all the ingredients to your bath, and then you want to add the water into this big bowl, which will be your bath. And you're going to take this bowl and you're going to get into the shower with this bowl, and you're going to pour it over your head. Okay. Or you could take the water and put your hands in the water and just make sure that all of the water and some of the herbs and the ingredients get over your body as much as possible. But you want to always make sure that you get your crown chakra. Okay. Like this is your ori, your crown chakra, your head. You want to make sure that at least this part gets submerged in some kind of water. And you can do that by taking the bowl and just pouring it over your head. So if you don't have a bath, you can just take a big bowl, add up all of your things, pour it over your head. Okay. And once again, if you're going to do this, make sure that you pray over the water and the ingredients in the water inside the bowl before you dump it over your head. Does that help, JJ? Yeah. So that's one of the ways that we do it as well. If you don't have a bath, you don't always have to take a bath, an actual have a bathtub to actually do a spiritual bath. You can just use a bowl. Can you use just a shower cap? No, ma'am. Sorry, and I know this is hard. This People ask this all the time because I know we don't like to get our hair messed up. So I always tell people if you're going to do this kind of a spiritual bath, you want to do it like the day or two before you get your hair done. Okay, like if you know you're scheduled to get your hair done on Friday, do the bath on Wednesday. Okay, because like you're gonna want to make sure that your crown chakra gets some of that spiritual bath. You know what I mean? Like you want to make sure it really gets in there. Yep, yeah, you wanna let it hit that scalp, baby. Like your scalp be needing some of that work. What about children? Do people do these baths? Yes. Yes. I highly recommend this for children. Because you gotta think, like your kids go to school with other kids. And these other kids, like, you don't know what kind of households they are in. You don't know, kids carry things because they're so sensitive. I put my daughter in a bath at least twice a month. I sure do. And it does a lot for her sleep too. I can kind of tell when her anxiety is a little higher than normal because she's a Cancerian baby. She's a water child. She's extremely sensitive. And so I can tell that when she's having trouble sleeping or her anxiety is higher than normal, I sure do. I put her in a bath. I sure do. I put salt in there. I put lavender in hers because she loves lavender, particularly lavender. I put rose essential oils in hers as well. So yep, putting kids in baths is very very necessary, especially if you have any kids that are on the spectrum too, because a lot of times I notice that kids on the spectrum are highly sensitive, more sensitive than others. Like it's great to actually like do spiritual baths for them. It helps to calm them in a lot of ways. Like trust me, I have a lot of clients and I instruct them to do this for their kids. I know it helps with my daughter, like especially now. And now it's to the point where like my daughter will ask me, Mama, can I do a spiritual bath today? So it's like she's 7, so she's starting to catch on and notice it for herself. And we'll go to the store and she'll pick out certain things that she wants to put in her bath. So now we've reached that point where I allow her to pick the things that she feels led to pick. But one of the main things I always put in there is salt. And I kind of let her pick out the rest. So I figure, if she's drawn to it, we're going to use it. But kids and spiritual baths, that should be a part of like a regularly scheduled program with kids. Like, because they're so sensitive and they're so precious and they little sponges. They're sponges. So yeah, put them kids in a bath. Okay, put them kids in a bath. Oh, got to try that for my daughter. I'm telling you, it works wonders. Like, and my daughter has issues sleeping too. Even though she's 7, she has a hard time sleeping because she is so sensitive. And so it does help. Like I said, she starts to notice it herself. Epsom salt. Yes, you can use Epsom salt. Sure can. Yep. I use Epsom salt and I use sea salt. I do both with my daughter and for myself, but mostly for my daughter. I use Epsom salt and sea salt. I also use Epsom salt and I like magnesium oil. Magnesium oil works wonders too. So magnesium oil is great. Can you also use cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice when doing? You sure can. Yep. Yep, you sure can. Those are some of the things I actually use for baths for prosperity. Like, this work is so simple. You know what I mean? Like, it's so simple. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally all the things that you probably already have. So, yes, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. Yep, you can definitely throw those in a bath for prosperity. Like I said, you want to make sure you pray over it first to activate the properties. But yep, you can use all of those things. Those are kind of like essential anyway for baths for prosperity and money. Very essential. You can take those things too that you will put in a bath for prosperity. You can like create a powder, mix all of those things, put that in your water. Not in your water. You can put it in your water. Put it in your wallet. Sprinkle that in your wallet. You can take that same mixture and sprinkle it in your shoes. The shoes that you're gonna wear for today. Sprinkle a little bit of that mixture in your shoe. Put it in your water. Put it in your bath. You know what I mean? Like when you get to your job or if you own a business, whatever it is, put a little bit in your seat at work. You know what I mean? Like sprinkle a little bit under your keyboard while you at work. You know what I mean? Like if you're dealing with money every day, or if you're at a cash register, sprinkle a little bit in the cash register. Okay, your place of employment, or if you have a business that you go to every day, sprinkle a little bit at the doorstep, at the opening of your door. You know what I mean? Like wherever you're signing contracts, you know what I mean? Like sprinkle it. Like it's good to keep that mixture of cinnamon, allspice, and nutmeg. It's just like make a whole little powder of it. Put it in a container and keep it with you. You can sprinkle a little bit of that everywhere. You can put some in your bed. Okay. I take some of that. I actually take that exact combination. I put some on my laundry too. I sure do. Not a whole lot, just a little bit, just a little pinch in your laundry. Okay. Like these things actually help to keep the prosperity going. Now, I will say, okay, like these tips are great. But if you're going to do things for prosperity, I want to urge everybody to look at some of your patterns around money. Okay. Look at some of your patterns around money, how you spend money, how you receive money. If you are one of those people where you know you have a hard time receiving in general, that's something that you may want to do some shadow work around. Like this is also a part of hoodoo is healing. Healing is hoodoo. Hoodoo is healing. They're one and the same. So look at your patterns around receiving in general. Okay. Like this actually helps the energy of prosperity once you start owning some of your patterns and start to reroute some of those patterns. You know what I mean? Around money. Like go into your childhood. Like what's some of the mantras that your parents used to say to you about money? You know what I mean? Like if you used to always hear, oh, we broke. Like fix this. Like you have an opportunity to change that shit. Like you don't have to keep that same mantra going. So it's like when you're doing this work, you're working with these different hoodoos and these different tips and tricks. Just add the extra element of looking at your patterns around it. I'm a clinical hyp I work from home. Yes. Yep. Exactly. So it's like looking at some of your patterns. If you are looking for love and you're doing love work all the time, let's just say you're doing different things to attract love or money and you feel like it doesn't last or it's not sticking, look at some of your own patterns around that thing. Look at your patterns around love and having mates and sexual partners or whatever it is that you're looking for. Look at your patterns around it. Do you feel like you can receive those things? Do you feel like you can receive money from all sources, from everywhere, and you deserve it? Right? Do you feel like you can have the mate? You know what I mean? Have the love, somebody show up for you, be there for you, cuddle with you, travel with you, make money with you. Are you ready to receive that? Are you? Do you love yourself enough to receive that love from somebody else? So when I talk to people about doing hoodoo work, these tips and these tricks are great, but it's great to go the extra mile because when you now do these different things in terms of hoodoo, it can now last because you're actually doing the work on the other end. I get clients all the time. They want to get this work done, and I'm like, okay. And then they're calling me 6 months later, like, okay, it wore off. And it's like, okay, it wore off, but did you do the other things that I told you to do? And a lot of times people don't do the other things. They just want a quick fix. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's no shade in that because we all do it. We just want something done quick and we want it done fast and we just want temporary things. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like you do what you need to do when you need to do it. But if you want real lasting results in your life, sometimes hitting that shadow work. Sometimes you gotta hit that shadow work. You know what I mean? Like real deal. And think about all of the things that's stopping you from having the things that you desire. Whether it's the mate, the love, or even protection. I get people all the time that come get protection work, and then they're back 6 months, a year later, with the same issue because you're still engaging in the same things that you wanted protection from. Now, I'm gonna just be real with y'all. Like, I have a client that um, sells things that aren't legally on the market, but always wants protection work. I have no judgment. I do what you need me to do. But it's like if you're still engaging in these things, like just know that certain things come with the territory. You know what I mean? Like if you aren't willing to switch up what you're doing, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna always be coming to root workers and conjure workers like me, which is no problem. But it's like just understand if you aren't changing certain patterns, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna always be needing to go to somebody for help. And there's nothing wrong with that. Once again, there's nothing wrong with that. You do what you gotta do. But changing patterns sometimes is, I mean, that's the real work. Honestly, it's the real work. Okay. So, any other specific things you guys want to go into? Let me get into candles really, really quick while people are thinking about questions. Candle work and hoodoo. Okay, like candle work is the most simplified way to get something done. Like whether that's protection work, love work, healing work, money work. If you feel you are cursed or hexed in some way, now if you feel like you're cursed and hexed in some way, like you need to be seeing somebody, but let's just say you don't have the funds to see anybody. Um, Candle work does the trick, and it's so very simple, baby. Like it is the most simplest thing to do. I always recommend candle work for people. And if you're new to candle work, all you need is a bunch of white candles. Go out and get white candles. I don't like to confuse people. Like there's different colors for different things. Of course, like red and pink is good for passion and love, confidence, things like that. But white candles, like you can use white candles for literally everything. If you're just starting out and you are doing the basics of hoodoo, get white candles. Okay, you can never go wrong with white candles. Get them by the boatload. I know if I have no other candle, like white will suffice. And all you have to do with candles, yep, just like Orion said, all you have to do is set your intentions. That's it. Um, You can add herbs to them. I like to add herbs to mine. It depends on what you're doing. You can add herbs, but if you're just starting out, any candle, it don't matter. Any candle. I don't care what kind of candle it is. You can use a tea light candle. I use tea light candles all the time because you don't have to worry about the safety factor as much. They're easy to burn. You kind of just let them go. You can use tea lights. You can use the 7-day candles. You can use the pillar candles, any kind of candle. You can go to the dollar store is a great place to start. Let me say that. I go to the dollar store. Okay. Like you can get a lot of your supplies from the dollar store. You can use any candle. But all you have to do is set your intentions. You want to hold that candle, whatever candle it is. Put your intentions into this candle. You want to hold it in your hand and pray over it. Whatever your intention is, it don't matter what your intention is. You want to infuse this candle with your intention. Okay? I mean, like really sit with it. Like give yourself a good 5 minutes and infuse this candle with your intention and burn it. That's it. You know what I mean? Like burn it. Like little, and if you can't burn it, the whole time it needs to be burned, okay, burn it an hour a day until it's done. That's it. Now you can go the extra mile and add oils. You can add herbs to your candles. Um, does it matter if the candle already has a fragrance? Now you want to get a candle without fragrance because you want to be able to add your own element of fragrance and add your own magical properties to it. So get bare candles that have no fragrance at all. Okay, because you don't want to get something. Sometimes the candles that you get with the fragrance, sometimes it's too much, but you want to get something that you can just program on your own. So get candles with no fragrance at all. As far as oils for candle, I like to use jojoba oil, avocado oil, or almond oil. You can use olive oil. That will suffice. If you only have olive oil, you can use that. But my go-to is typically either almond oil or avocado oil. And that's just something I've grown accustomed to using because it's very light. The oil is very light and it doesn't have much of a smell to it. Olive oil is fine. It's just olive oil has a very distinctive smell. And when I'm using herbs or oils, I like to smell the herbs and oils that I use. And so, yeah, but you can use olive oil. But the dollar store is great for candles. Candle work is very, very, very simple. You don't need much of a teacher for that. Like I said, if you want to get into the depths of candle work, You can seek out a group, you can seek out a teacher. I actually have a candle magic course that you can take on my website, and you can just do this whenever you're ready. It's self-paced, and I actually take you through the entire process. I show you what it looks like and how to do it, to add the herbs and all that good stuff. But so I'm just supposed to burn it until it burns out. Yes. But if you can't do that all in one sitting, that's fine. Let's just say you have it burning for an hour and you have to leave the house. Just put it out. And when you put the candle out, let me say this, do not blow your candle out. You want to snuff it out or put something over it. Buy a candle snuffer, or take a plate, or just you want to just smother the candle flame. You don't want to blow it out. But the goal is to let the candle burn until it's done. But like I said, if you got to go somewhere and you got to put the candle out, that's fine. But you do want to burn it until it's completely done. If you are working on like some long-term work, you can use any kind of candle, but I'm going to suggest a 7-day candle. And if you don't know what a 7-day candle is, it's those tall candles you can get. Um, those tall glass encased candles. I don't know when I'm supposed to be stopping. I'm just going, y'all. So you can get one of those tall glass encased candles. And you want to make sure you clean it too before you use candles, because some things been sitting on the shelf, people been touching them. You want to you can take some regular rubbing alcohol, y'all. Before you use your candles, you want to clean it. You can use Florida water too, but if you don't have Florida water, let's just say you don't have the money, whatever the case may be, I want to give you stuff that you probably already have. You can use basic rubbing alcohol and clean your candle. Okay, so you want to clean your candles before you use them. But if you have some long-term stuff that you're doing, you can use the tall glass encased 7-day candles, and they're created for you to burn them every day for 7 days. They literally last 7 days if you're burning them literally every day. Sometimes it's 5 days. It depends on how many hours you're burning it a day, and they're safe. They're really, really safe. But if you have something long term that you're working on, burn those big candles. They work. And let them burn all the way down to nothing. Okay. Now you want to pay attention to the flame. Now I know this part is extra, but you want to pay attention to the flame. If your candle flame is burning like really, really slow, let's say the flame is very, very small and is having a hard time, that kind of lets you know that whatever your intention was for that candle, you may have something like within you internally, energetically, that you may want to look at. Let's just say we'll use money, because people always want to know about money. Let's just say you're burning a candle and the flame is like really, really low and it's burning slow. For me, that's an indicator of, okay, maybe I have something to look at, you know what I mean, in terms of my patterns around money. Okay, you want to continue to let the candle burn, but you may want to do some extra work around money. You know what I mean? Like start repeating some affirmations in the mirror around money. Okay, like start changing some of your monetary habits. Okay, maybe start create a banking account. You know what I mean? Specifically for savings. I'm suggesting things to kind of just change your money patterns, which helps with the hoodoo work that you're doing. So if your candle is burning slow and your flame is really slow, it just indicates that there's a little friction around money. Okay. If your candle is, I see this all the time. If your candle is burning high, the flame is high and it's burning quick, that's kind of indicator to me that you are one of those people that burns through money really quickly. That as soon as you get money, it's gone. You have to spend it. See this all the time. I have quite a few clients that have a lot of money, but a lot of their money is also going right out of the window. So if your candle is burning high and it's burning fast, that could be an indicator that maybe you want to change your patterns around how you're spending money and how to maintain your money and let your money go out naturally. Okay, like when your when your candles burning, when your money is going out, you don't have to give all your money away so quickly. Like you can actually put some away. Like the money be burning a hole in people's pockets. Okay, so that's the indicator that you may be spending too much too soon. But if you have like a good, even burn of your candle, like always feel good about that. Those are the great burns when you're burning a candle. Somebody says, Jesse, recommendation on how to do a money candle. All right, let's talk about a basic money candle. Now, it's really, really simple. What do you think about road openers? How can we make one? All right, let me get with Jessica really quick. Money candle. I'm going to give you the most basic way to do a money candle. Go to the dollar store, babe. Go to the dollar store, get you a large 7-day candle, the ones I was just talking about. Clean it. Take some rubbing alcohol, clean it, make sure it's clean really, really well. Okay. And then you're going to go and get you some dried basil. Okay. Get you some dried basil, get you some dried peppermint. Okay. You're going to take that. You don't need a lot. You're going to take those herbs, put them in your hand, pray over it. You're going to sprinkle it inside the candle around the wick. Okay. You're also going to take that candle, you're going to hold it in your hands, and you're going to pray over it. And pray over it, meaning that you can use affirmations, you can use mantras around money. Okay. Whatever you feel comfortable with, use those things. Okay. And speak into the candle, speak into the herbs. And then once you do that, this is a very simple, simple way. Once you do that, now you light that candle. That's your money candle. Very, very simple. And you want to let this candle burn literally every day. And once you go to light it every day, you want to speak to that candle every day, because this candle now becomes a living entity doing what you need it to do, but you need to instruct it, and you need to instruct it every day. So go to that candle, do a light prayer, do a mantra, do an affirmation over that candle every day, and just burn it and let it burn out until it's completely gone. What do you think about road openers, and how can you make one? Road openers are huge in Hoodoo. I get requests for road openers all the time. And road openers, again, can be very, very simple, or they can be very, very complex. You choose, but I'm going to give you the most simple thing, this most simple way to do a road opener. One of the things I like to do when I'm going to take some time to do a road opener, candle. Get a candle. I'm going to recommend getting a orange candle. You can use white. You can always use white for anything, like I said. Get an orange candle or a green candle for a road opener. Okay? Clean that candle. Pray over it. Somebody asked about ginger. Fresh ginger. There's a lot you can do with fresh ginger. But for this road opener, you can take some dried ginger. Put that inside of your candle around the wick. Okay, and burn that for a road opening. Now, before you even do that, I'm going to suggest that you do a bath to open your roads, to kind of just clear your energy. So always, before you do any kind of road opening candle work, do a spiritual bath real quick. And I'm glad that somebody mentioned ginger, because you can use fresh ginger. Make a tea. Like fresh ginger is great for road opening. Also, cayenne pepper actually opens up roads as well. Okay, like internally, spiritually, in your baths, candle work, cayenne pepper, ginger, like those are some very key things. That there's other things too, but I want to make sure that you can get things that you can get from a grocery store. You ain't got to go looking for these very specific herbs. A road opener, really quick. A road opener is, let's just say you're in a place in your life where you feel like you aren't getting the results that you need. You feel like doors are constantly closing on you. You aren't getting the opportunities that you need to move forward, and you feel confused. You feel like you are, you're boxed in a lot of ways in your life. A road opener is just as it sounds. It opens roads to opportunities that you may need. It opens roads to better finances. It opens roads to having more love. It just literally gives you more opportunities. It opens your roads. It opens your doors. Okay, it opens your window. It's opening everything in your life to be able to receive what you need, because you can't receive nothing if you close, right? You know what I mean? Like you just can't receive if you're closed. So a road opening, I would start with a road opening bath. And the most simple way to do this is put some salt in your bath. put a little bit of salt. Take some fresh ginger, make a tea. Also put that in your bath. Okay. And then once you do the bath, now you can add the road opening candle. Okay. You can add the road opening candle. Another thing I like to suggest people do in terms of road opening, um, if you live near a river, okay, if you live near a river, go take yourself to the river. And if you can get in, get in. Okay, before you do any kind of candle work or bath work, like if you have access to a river, go to a river. And if you can't get in the river, get some river water and take that home with you to do a bath and add that to your bath. River water in general is a very easy, clear cut way to open roads in your life. And it's cleansing because, like I said, road opening allows you to receive. And if you're closed off, if you're carrying things, you can't receive. So go to a river, baby. Get in the water. Talk to the water. Talk to the river. The river is a spirit. The water is a spirit in itself. Okay. I'm not sure how in depth you guys are in your practices, but Oshun lives in the river. Okay. The spirit of Oshun, who is the goddess of beauty, the goddess of blessings, the goddess of love. Okay. Go to the river, baby. I'm gonna always say go to the river when it comes to road opening. If you don't do anything else, if you have access to a river, do that. Do that before you do some candle work. Go to a river, cleanse yourself, talk to the spirit of the river, talk to the spirits of nature, and then go home and do your candle work. And if you can't get in a river, collect some river water. And when you collect river water, make sure it's in a glass container. Please, glass containers, y'all. Make sure it's in a glass container. Okay? Take that home, put that river water in your bath, and then do your road opening candle work. These are very simple ways. It's not complicated at all. Moon water, storm water. Okay, so moon water is great for road opening. It depends on you can use a lake. I will preferably say river because a river is always moving. A river goes into the ocean. It's always going. You never see the same particle of a river twice. You know what I mean? Like it's literally always going. It's always refreshing itself. Like literally. So I would highly suggest a river, but if you don't have a river, lake water will suffice because it is a part of nature and nature is always moving and changing in itself. But I'm going to always highly recommend a river because it's always flowing, it's always moving, and it's ever changing. Um, Moon water is great. If you want to collect moon water on a full moon, for instance, if you are celebrating something, if you want more blessings in your life, you can use moon water. And a way to do that is you want to take some spring water or some distilled water, glass containers, y'all. Don't ever use plastic because the plastic starts to become infused into your work and plastic is dead. Okay. Like plastic holds nothing for you a lot of times. So if you are adding herbs or liquids to any container, I just use glass. So if you are collecting moon water, let's just say for a full moon, you want to use a glass container, you're going to put the water in this glass container and you want to set it where the moonlight can hit it. You could set it in a windowsill or take it outside, put it on your porch. Let the moon water infuse, let the moon energy infuse into this water. You can use full moon water for blessings. You can use full moon water for prosperity. You can use it for cleansing. You can use it for celebrating certain things. Like the fullness of the moon means the energy the energy of the moon is at its peak. So when you use that water, just realize it's heightening whatever you use it for. You know what I mean? Like the energy is really, really high. Or if you're using new moon water, if you're starting a new project, you are starting a new opportunity. You have something new that you're starting. in general, new moon is good for that. So you want to take your water and set it out into the moon, the new moon energy, and let that energy collect. And you can use that. And you can use that water. You can put it in. I like to put mine in a spray bottle. You can spray that moon water wherever you need to spray. You can spray it in your bed. You can spray it on your journal. You can spray it in your car. You can, carry it with you and spray it when you need it. But you can collect the water. You can also use it in a bath. Um, there's so many ways that you can use the water. Storm water. Okay, this is where we kind of get into a little bit of what they consider like left hand. And I would suggest you only use storm water if you absolutely need it to. Storm water is just how it sounds. Storm. It's going to create a storm. Um, those are great. I have some of those. I have some of those. Yeah, I got them from Dollar Tree. They be having some of those at the thrift store too, like the bigger ones. But those are great. Storm waters create storms. Okay, like if you are in a place in your life where you want to create the energy of a storm, or you need to create a little bit of chaos, in order to distract from something, to distract something that you're already doing. If you need it to be a distraction, storm water is great for that. So when there is a storm, you can collect this water, this storm water, and use it. Let's just say you need some chaos real quick for whatever you need it for. I have no judgment. And you need to create a storm real quick. You need to shake things up. Sometimes we need to shake shit up in order to create something new. So as long as there's an intention for your storm water, like a real intention, go ahead and use it. But you can go out into exactly. You can go out into a storm, collect that water, and use it. But make sure that you have real, I want to say this, you want to make sure that you have real intentions for it, because sometimes when we go into those paths, it can backfire if you're not using the energy properly, or if your intentions aren't clear. So just make sure whatever you're using it for, your intention is very clear and is very solid. If you are using the chaos water in order to make change in some way that benefits you in some way, go ahead, do it. Um, let's try not to use this one. Yeah, the thing is, like, I wouldn't suggest it, but I need to give people the right things to do if you're going to do it. Okay? If you're going to do it. Now, um, even spring water, like at the beginning of the spring, like I collect as much spring rainwater as possible. Like when we go into the spring, like I'll get like gallons of water to keep all year round for spring water. Spring water or spring rainwater. Oh my, I love it so much. It's like you can use it for the energy of birthing something new, to refresh things, to refresh your aura, to refresh your spirit, to refresh your money, to refresh your finances. Like spring water, spring rainwater is the best. If you want to collect a water, rainwater is tremendous for that. Can you collect and save the water before you're ready? Yep, I sure do. Like I said, in the spring I'll get multiple jars of water and collect spring water. There's spring water that I'm still using from April. And I typically like to keep it for at least a year. After a year, I kind of just release it back if I have a whole bunch left over, but keep it up to a year. And if you keep it up to a year, I would suggest adding some essential oils to it. This actually helps keep it fresh too. And I will also suggest, if you're going to keep waters up to a year, you want to set it outside too. Set it in the sun. This actually refreshes the water, and add essential oils to it. So that helps. Yep, you can use a mason jar. Yep, use a mason jar. How long can you let it sit and still have the? Yep. I answered that. A year. Keep it up to a year. Does putting cinnamon and cloves in the water when you set it out under food make a difference? Yep, it sure does. When you add any kind of plant material or herbs, it just adds to the water that you're using, or whatever you're using, even if it's the oil or water. It just adds to the properties of. It just adds to your intentions. So yeah, I would say use it. It helps. It helps. It helps. It really does. Um, let's see. Any others? I mean, I can go on about this all night if y'all gonna let me. So y'all gonna have to tell me when to stop. Um, so do y'all have any other specific question? Anything y'all want to know about specifically? My social media, I'm on TikTok as Some Good Juju. My Instagram is Priestess Saint Journey. My website is somegoodjuju.com. Like they just, unfortunately, Facebook be on some BS. They just shut my Facebook down. So I have no idea why. So I've lost so many Facebook contexts and content. Like anyway, I'm not gonna cry about it tonight with y'all. But yeah, I miss if you spoke about the connection of hoodoo and religion. Okay, so I talked about this in the beginning. Hoodoo being a essential part of Christianity. They go hand in hand. Like I know people sitting up in the church that actually practice hoodoo and they know that they practice hoodoo. I actually have a pastor right now. Two of them who are clients. And they actually call me to do things for their church. They need more offerings coming in. They want to cleanse. They have me come in to cleanse their church. They want me to cleanse the pews. You know what I mean? Like they need more. They need more members. So I go in and do work for them to have more members. They sure do, and they know exactly what they're doing. And the thing is, when people call me to do stuff, I have no judgment. Like they need to get shit done, just like I need to get shit done. So we get it done. You know what I mean? And so they tell their other pastor friends about me, and I may go do things. But I have two that I have worked with for a very long time, and they call me when they need me. They get readings, okay? They get mojo bags. Like I said, I come into the church and I cleanse the church for them. You know what I mean? Like I pray over their collection plates. I put my oils over their collection plates. I sure do. You know what I mean? I put oils all on their microphones. Okay. Like I do things at their front door in order to bring in new members. I sure do. Like hoodoo and religion go hand in hand. Like there's some people that practice and they know that they're practicing. And a lot of people practice hoodoo in the church and they have no idea that they're practicing. Like my mother, for instance. I'm not sure if you heard that part, but my father is a pastor. I come from, Christian household. My mother is the first lady. I've been in the church all my life. Okay. My father has hundreds of churches all around the world. Okay. And my mother lives in Orlando and I was just out there a few months ago and my mother's a cancer survivor. And so when she got home from the hospital, she had me wipe all of her doors down and her doorknobs down and blessed oil that I prayed over. Okay, using songs. In her mind, God and Jesus appointed her to do this. In my mind, I'm thinking like, hey, this is hoodoo. We doing hoodoo. Like you talk about me doing this work, but you do it. So hoodoo and religion like go hand in hand. Like, and it reminds me of my father has churches in Africa, and he tells me all the time they still practice their rituals and their spells and their ceremonies, but they make sure they get up and go to church and praise Jesus too. So people find a way to incorporate hoodoo into their religion. But hoodoo been in Christianity since the beginning of the time. Yep. Oh, it's SUMGOODJUJU. So the sum is actually SUM. So Christianity and hoodoo go hand in hand. A lot of times, hoodoo is a part of Christianity in a way that most people don't think that it is. You know what I mean? Like when you my TikTok is some good juju. Yep. SUMGOODJUJU. It's just like voodoo and all the voodoo saints. When we look at our history as African American people, uh people use Catholicism or going to Catholic churches. They use the saints in order to practice voodoo. So when you go into voodoo and you start asking questions like, why do we use these saints? You know what I mean? Like they use the saints because they had to, right? So religion and our traditions, they literally go hand in hand. Like prayer cloths, you know what I mean? Like blessed oil that we use in church, right? Like even communion, like communion, having the crackers, you know what I mean? The body of Christ, the blood of Christ, and we drink the red juice. Like this is hoodoo, this is witchcraft, y'all, baby. Like they already doing it. That's is that on my page? Yep, yep, that's my page. It's so many. Like, let me tell you, I have to be careful because there's a lot of imposter pages out there. But yep, that one is mine. Um, so hoodoo and religion goes literally hand in hand. Same rituals by different name. Exactly. Like exactly. Even when you go to church and you see them shouting and speaking in tongues. When I go to voodoo ceremonies, it's the same thing. Voodoo ceremonies is literally the same thing. Like there are people shouting. Okay, there are people speaking in tongues. There are people dancing. They seem to have been possessed by an ancestor or a spirit. Like this is church. It's the same. When I go to voodoo ceremonies, it's the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I get mounted or I'm communion with a spirit in voodoo, I'm out of my mind. It's the same thing that would happen in church. Exact same thing. We just call it something different. They just demonize it in church because that's just what they do. They're accustomed to, anything under the banner of Christianity, people tend to be afraid of, but it's all the same thing. So I question who mounted me in church. So do you have an idea of who mounted you? Like what did that look like for you? I guess is what I'm saying. Like, was it something that would happen often, or was it like a one-time thing? Or, I think when people, no, I just thought it was Jesus. Yeah, and most people do. And the thing is, like, when I go to my parents' church now and I see them shouting, sometimes I can see certain ancestors like jumping into people. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes you got to think about it. Like, some of these spirits are that some spirits really just want to have the physical earthly experience again. So they do pick hosts in church so they can have this physical experience and now they're shouting. But sometimes it's people's ancestors come in the church. Like I said, it's the same thing when I go to voodoo ceremonies. Ancestors come in, they mount people, and now these people are dancing, they're shouting, they're speaking in tongues. The same thing in church. So in church, I literally see somebody's ancestors jumping in them. Now they're shouting up and down the aisle, screaming Jesus. And I be thinking like, yo, that's Uncle Will. Like, yo, Uncle Willie. Okay, Uncle Willie is with you. Like, this is not Jesus. Like, okay, like this is Uncle Willie. Like, so it's the same thing. So a lot of times they are being mounted by their ancestors. And sometimes it's just random spirits that want to have the physical spirits again. And sometimes because we're so sensitive to energy, sometimes just feeling the energy of being in church, people are now shouting and they are speaking in tongues just off the energy of being in church because the energy is so high. So not everybody is being mounted. Some people just feel the heightened energy, but it's when I tell you it's the same exact thing, like it's the same exact thing. Voodoo ceremonies, some of the hoodoo, the misas that I go to, it looks just like me being in my father's church. You know what I mean? So they very much go hand in hand, but a lot of times you can't tell them that because it looks like the devil. But we're very spiritual people. You know what I mean? Very spiritual people, very sensitive to things outside of the physical container. You know what I mean? But it's very, very beautiful. So yes, hoodoo, voodoo, santeria, lukumi, ifa, all of these things are directly correlated to religion, or religion is correlated to these practices. They go hand in hand. Different names, same energy, and a lot of times the same rituals. Like when you go to church and you get baptized, that's a spiritual bath. I mean, it's it's a spiritual bath. They go and dip you into the river. Like it's It's all the same thing. That's the beauty of it. It's literally all the same thing. Okay, so yeah. So, even though I don't understand the basis of, religion in a lot of ways, I get it because, like I said, we do the same things. This is where they intersect. I just don't have the Jesus figure attached to my practices because there's no need to. And although I still honor Jesus because that's still an energy, what I mean? I still may use that energy sometimes for something. Like the name of Jesus does hold power. It holds power just like Buddha holds power. Yemonja holds power. Oshun holds power. Shakti holds power. Shiva holds power. Okay, Kali Ma holds power. Kuan Yin holds power. Okay, like all of these entities hold a power. Jesus is no different, and sometimes I'll use his energy as well too. Okay, so I can't knock Jesus. He works. He does the work. Okay, like they all do the work. They all do what they need to do. Okay, Army, I'm telling you, I say call out your own name, girl. Let me tell you, that's a whole yeah. That's a whole nother area of work that I often tell people. Some people have a hard time with that. Like, let me tell you, some people, I think people are still trying to understand the essence of loving self and understanding themselves as God, understanding themselves. Let me say it, understanding yourself as a God, as a creator. I'm not sure if you're ready for that, but I'm saying it anyway. But when you call on your own name, in your work, if you know the power of your name, like your mother gave you that name not from her own thought. Okay, that name came from a place. Like you were ordained with your name. Okay, so even if you have a spiritual name, say your spiritual name and the name your mother gave you, make sure you honor that shit too, because there's a lot of people we like to use these spiritual names, and I can't knock it because I use one. Okay, but I'm always going to say the name that my mother gave me. I was ordained with that name. So when I'm doing my work, I definitely use all my names. Okay, every name that I'm called, every name that I go by, that shit holds so much fucking power. Okay, the name, period. How do you find out your spiritual name? My mama. You think she made it up. She got that from somewhere. Okay? Like that was your name was downloaded into her from some place. You know what I mean? Like you gotta understand, like we're human, but we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're spirit first. And everything that we do literally comes from the spiritual. We bring it as a physical form. It's no different than your name. So your mother may have been influenced by something somewhere, but she definitely didn't just come up with your name. It came from somewhere else, baby. My mom literally had a dream about my name. That's how it works sometimes, man. Like that was the name you were initiated into your physical body with. Call on your name. Okay, in the name of whoever you are, in the name of Ermi, in the name of Latasha, whatever, in the name of Keep, whatever your name is, that shit holds a lot of weight. I'm gonna give you another. I'm gonna give y'all some more tea. Like, find out. I'm gonna answer your question in a minute about how to find your spiritual name. Some more juju that you can use. Find out the day that you were born on. I'm gonna tell you again. Find out the day that you were born on. Were you born on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Find that out. And when you find that out, that's also another place of power. I was born on a Tuesday. So Tuesdays are my power days. And I like red. So on Tuesdays, I typically like to wear red. On Tuesday, this is the day that I literally celebrate my existence on Tuesday. Okay, so I use Tuesdays for all kind of work. You know what I mean? Like everything, because I know this is my day. Okay, this is my birth. This is one of my birthdays. I was born on Tuesday. So I'm using Tuesday. And red is one of my colors. So I'm using red on Tuesday. So use whatever day of the week your day is. And there's so many different sites. You can just Google it. Find out what day I was born on. Just Google it and put in the numbers, and it'll give you the day that you were born on. And let that be your power day. Like, this helps you with any and everything. Okay, so if you're starting a job, if you're starting an opportunity, if you want to do hoodoo, if you're doing any kind of work, let Tuesday be your power day. If you're starting a diet, a workout routine, start on a Tuesday if that's your day. Start on a Wednesday. Like, let that day, that's your power day. Okay, that's your power day. And like Army said, call on the power of your name on that day. God, goddess, okay, call on your name that day. Like, that's your power day. Just to give y'all a little tea on that. How to get your spiritual name. Now, your spiritual name is one of those things that comes to you. If you have like a mentor or something, it's probably something that they can help you get to. Sometimes your spiritual name comes through dreams. Your spiritual name can come through reading. Sometimes readers can help you figure out what your spiritual name is. It can be something that you're drawn to. It can be something that you've been initiated into. Like, your spiritual name comes from, it's one of those things that just comes. Like, it comes and it just feels right to you. Um, Now, I got Journey in a name. My mother named me Siobhan Lanice Turner. I'm gonna say my name. I got the name Journey in a name. I got my name Journey in a name. I got my name Journey in a dream. It was a dream that I was consistently having, and everybody in this dream was calling me Journey. Every single time that I had this dream, I had a recurring dream for like 2 years. And then this time, everybody was calling me Journey in this dream, and so and once I made that my name, I stopped having the dream. So I think it was something there I was integrating. I think there was another reality or another life or something where my life now and that life are intersecting, or maybe there's some healing there that needs to be done. So I took the name Journey, and like I said, I haven't had that dream since because I got the message, so I hung up the phone. Simple as that. So your name just comes. You just have to be open to it. And sometimes just asking the question. And you may not have a spiritual name. Who knows? That's fine. Maybe the name that your mother gave you is your spirit name. And that's okay too. But just even asking yourself that question, like, what's my spiritual name? Ask it in a meditation. And just be open and aware to listen to whatever answers that you get, because it can come in different forms. But dreams are typically a powerful way to kind of receive your spiritual name, or in a reading, because that happens too. People get readings. Are you taking new clients? I'm always taking new clients. Yeah, I'm at a good place to take new clients. Yeah, I'm at a good place to do that. I typically take on a lot of new clients like towards the end of the year. So it's always a good time to like start a new journey with a new client around this time of the year. So I am taking new clients. Um, I get the name part. I saw this Egyptian queen calendar as a 16-year-old and knew that what I would name my daughter. Yeah, that happens. That happens. It could be like things that you are like very specifically drawn to. You know what I mean? And you don't know why, or even just for your children. And it's like when you get it, you get it. Like, you don't need to ask no more questions. It is what it is. Like, you automatically just get it. But let me say, like, when you get these spiritual names, like, don't denounce the name that was given to your mother for you. Okay? Like I said, that does happen a lot. So let me just say, have the spiritual name, but honor the name that your mother was given for you. Okay? Don't let that go. Always say that name as well. Okay? Like, don't forget about the name that you came into this physical planet with. That holds a lot of weight. And when you're going into like numerology, that's a whole nother lane. When you're going into numerology, doing those numbers on that name, the name that your mother gave you, gives you a very accurate picture of some of the things that you are experiencing in this lifetime. Or even when you go into astrology or getting your birth chart done, your birth name holds a lot of power. So it's good to make sure that you're comfortable, using your name. You're not running from using the name that your mother gave you. Because I know a lot of people have issues and certain things with their birth name. So just make sure that you're not running any trauma around your name. Yes, and she wasn't born severe. That's all, but I knew. Thank you so much. You're welcome, love. You're welcome. Any other specific things, y'all? Is it bad to hate my name? I wouldn't say it's bad, babe, but if you hate it or if you hate anything, we kind of want to change the energy around that. You may want to look into, what kind of trauma you have around your name. So that's why I say, like, if you're going to have a spiritual name, that's cool, but make sure you're not doing it to run away from whatever friction you have around your name. You know what I mean? Like, if there is some friction, you want to look into that. And if you do have some friction around your name, I would say talk to your mother about your birth story. Because there could be some power in that too. If understanding your birth story, you may understand your name and why you have some friction around that. My preacher dad told me to never chop up my name. It holds power. Yep. 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 Exactly. So if you have issues with your name, love, like look into that. Ask your mother about your birth story. You know what I mean? Like go into meditation and ask your ancestors how what are you holding around the energy of your name? And it could be a past life thing or it could be a trauma in this life. But just look into that. Okay? Look into that. I really learned about my son's name. It's not I'm going to really speak. Yeah, do that. Do that. Like, do that for your kids too. Like, especially if your kids do have quote unquote difficult names. Like, my daughter's name is Zala, which I think is easy to say, but people always have a hard time pronouncing it. And I tell her, I'm like, make sure that people don't be afraid to correct them. They be saying Zyla, and even when I hear them say Zyla, I stop them. I be like, it's Zala, not Zyla, Zala. Like, make sure they say your name correctly. Okay, like your name came with a purpose and an intention. Okay, like say my name. So I'll make sure I teach my daughter that too. Like, make sure that you just correct people so they know to call you the right name. Don't answer to something that's not your name. You know what I mean? So she knows that even at 7. So when I see her correcting other people, I just smile. It makes me happy. You know what I mean? Because she's not afraid to speak that to somebody, to correct them if need be. What's the strongest form of protection against those who sinned? It similar to Frankie's question. Return to sender. Okay, so to not there's so many ways to do this, and some of them can be layered and complex. Okay, so one of the ways that you can do this in the very simple way as possible, I would say start with a candle. Get a candle. Um, a black candle. Now, if you only have white, that's fine, but use a black candle. Okay. Now you're going to take that black candle. First of all, of course, you're going to clean it, cleanse it as much as you possibly can. And then you're going to, I would suggest you write your intentions on this candle. So if you are using a glass encased candle, go get you a marker, get you a magic marker and say, I return all negative energy to sender. Even though you can use a white candle, I'm highly going to suggest you go ahead and get a black, but white will do. Get you a black candle. And once you write that on the candle, go ahead and just burn it. Another thing that I like to do if you're going to burn the candle and do a return to sender, I like to instruct people just doing a very basic form of it. Get a mirror. Okay, get a very small mirror and you're going to take that candle and put it on top of the mirror. Okay, and this is taking that energy and sending it back to whoever sent it. Now, if you don't know who's sending it, that's fine. If you do know who's sending shit to you, write their name on the candle. Okay, but if you don't know, let's just say there's a lot of shit coming towards you and you need to send it back. It doesn't matter if you don't know their name. You could just say, I send all the negative energy back to its sender. Put that on your candle. Put it on top of the mirror and burn it every day. But if you do know the name, like I said, names hold power. Put the motherfucker's names on there. Okay, write it on the candle. Okay, but if you don't know the name, that's fine. Now, this is a very simple way of returning to sender. And once you do this candle and once it burns out, I'm going to recommend you go ahead and do a spiritual bath. Okay, to just release, to just release it and let it all go. When I say run into had to ask in case I'm missing something. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah. Question. Go ahead, Ernie. Same thing. Very base. Like there's ways to do. Um, there's ways to do cord cutting. It could be very layered, but I tend to be very careful with cord cutting only because because people aren't typically careful with candles. I'll say that. I've had people, burn carpets and altars. You know what I mean? So um, I would say, as a basic person starting out with a cord cutting, start with a very simple candle. No, no, it's a real thing. Like it's a real thing. Like seriously. So what I want to say is, once again, candles very simple. If you're just starting out, because I don't want nobody burning nothing down. And I don't want that on my conscience because I don't want y'all reaching out to me and be like, oh, Priestess Journey, like I done burned, a hole in my couch. Like I get those messages. I don't want that from here. We don't want to do that. Okay, we ain't starting no fires. Okay, like you gonna cut the cords, but you gonna cut your furniture too. You gonna burn your shit up. We don't want to do that. So what you're going to do is get a candle, white candle or a black candle. Okay. And one of the first, I'm always going to recommend that going along with a bath. Do a bath. Put salt in a bath and pray over it. Very simple. Exactly. Insurance claim. Exactly. Do a bath. Very simple bath. Add some Epsom salt, add some sea salt. Take a bath. Okay. Now, if you are cutting cords, let me add this too. If you're cutting cords from something or somebody, this part is hard for people. This is where some of my clients have a hard time. I'm gonna just be real with y'all. Well, if you're cutting cords from somebody, you are going to need to get rid of things that you have of theirs. Okay, let's just say you're in a relationship, you want to cut cords. Things that they have given you, you want to get rid of those things. If you still have clothes of theirs in your house, okay, if you have things that you've received from them, like you have to get rid of those things because those things are creating an attachment and it's creating a cord. And some people have a really, really hard time with this because they don't want to let go until people stretch it. Yeah, I do. People have a hard time with that, Ermi. People have a really hard time, letting go of the stuff. And I be telling people, like, I'm not doing no kind of cord cutting unless you get rid of the shit. I'm not going to do it because it's a waste of time if you still holding on to the stuff. So before you do any kind of cord cutting, like let go of the stuff that keeps you attached to this person. All kind of physical items. Yeah, they do. They do. I tell them to either throw it away or take it to the damn thrift store. Shoes, jackets, purses. Oh, he bought me this purse and it was, it's a Marc Jacobs. I don't care, babe. You gotta let it go. So that's if you're going to do like a real cord cutting and you want it to last and be effective, get rid of the things that you are attached to, that you and this person have created an attachment with. Gifts, clothes, shoes, whatever it is, get rid of it. Okay, just get rid of it. I even had somebody says I have a car. Is there? Can you? What can we do something with this car? Like, what can we do? You know what I mean? Like, just find ways of kind of letting go of those attachments. So do that first and foremost. Get rid of the stuff. And once you've gotten rid of the stuff, I'm going to recommend taking a cleansing bath, a cord cutting cleansing bath. And I'm always going to recommend salt, lemons, limes as very basic things. Now, if you have like a real hardcore case of cord cutting you need to do, I have a client who had an abusive ex she was trying to cut some cords to. Um, I'm going to recommend like a cap full of bleach going into your bath water. I'm not saying to douse yourself. You got to think it's just a cap full going into a bath. Don't douse yourself in the bleach, y'all. Don't you literally use a cap full, okay? A cap full of bleach, some sea salt, some Epsom salt, a lemon and a lime, and put that in your bath water. Okay, like that's a good cord cutting bath for like something like really serious. Yeah, them bleach baths, man, them bleach baths like really, really do it. They really, really do it. So bleach bath, get rid of the things that you feel have attached you to this particular person, and then do some candle work. Get a black candle. Okay, say I cut all cords to this particular person or this job or whatever it is, and burn the candle. What are your thoughts on putting people in a freezer? This is a very common thing, and I like it, but I don't like it because I think people abuse it and I think that they do it wrong. But like I said, I like it and I don't like it. Now, sometimes you gotta freeze motherfuckers. Sometimes you gotta do it. Like let's just say you have a boss or a coworker or uh that's a good one. No, I know I've had people do that. Freeze certain bills, or not necessarily bills, but debt. Let's just say you have a debt. You can take that bill. Let's just say somebody's constantly collecting on something and they know goddamn well they like your student loans. You know goddamn well you ain't getting no more money from me. Okay? These motherfuckers being on ain't getting no money. You can take that bill and you can freeze it. Okay? Because you know damn well you're not about to pay the damn student loans. You're not doing it. It's as simple as that. But as far as putting people in a freezer, you can freeze people if necessary. Let's just say if you have a boss you're having some difficulty with, a co-worker you're having some difficulty with, you can take their name, put it on a piece of paper, okay, and I like to put it in a baggie and put them in a freezer until they're no longer a problem. You know what I mean? Yep, student loans. Yep, you sure can. Yep. Put Sally Mae in the freezer. Okay, go ahead, put her on up in there. Okay, but I'm saying y'all, it really works. And if you're going to do like student loans and bills and things and finances, things of that sort, like I said, put it in a baggie, put the bill in there. Okay, and add some particular herbs. Like I would add like even just salt to a baggie. Okay. Charcoal. If you can get some charcoal, like get some activated charcoal, some charcoal powder, put that in a baggie along with some salt and put it in the freezer. Now, when you put these things in the freezer, you want to put it in the back of the freezer. You don't want to put it like in the mix with all your food. Okay, so put it in the back of the freezer. Okay, away from things. Don't and let it mix and mingle with your food. Okay. But yeah, freezing things. Like I said, some people go too far with the freezing things. You can't freeze everybody, baby. Sometimes you got to deal with your stuff. Okay, like people be having a whole freezer full of just things that they frozen that they didn't want to deal with. Like some people have legit, issues they need to freeze. But how do you know if someone put you in a freezer? Well, one of the ways you would know that if you and it may not all the time necessarily be a freezer, but you can tell like if someone has kept you from approaching you, or even like if you feel like you can't pick up the phone to call them, or for whatever reason you have no desire to be in their stratosphere or in their cipher, you have no desire to be around their energy and you want to work, that could be a sign that they have either put you in a freezer or done some kind of work to like keep you away, keep you at bay. And honestly, it may be a good damn thing, depending on the circumstance. Um, but sometimes that does let you know if you have been frozen, like you just can't approach for some reason. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's a good way to, to know. It's almost like there's just like a block there. It's almost like your relationship is like frozen in time. Like it just stops and it doesn't go anywhere, if that makes sense. So that's one of the ways that you can tell if somebody has, put you in the freezer, honestly. Not a thought out. Oh my goodness. But the thing is, like, with putting people and things in a freezer, I mean, you can't keep it in the freezer forever. I'll say that. But at some point, like when the issue is no longer an issue, you can, take it out and, just put it in a trash only when it's no longer an issue. So it's like you have to determine how long that's going to be. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's a year. You know what I mean? Especially if you're dealing like with a workplace thing, until you like change jobs, you want to keep people in the freezer. Like if it's like a coworker or a boss, did whatever you freeze come back? Nope. If I was done with that particular thing, it never came back. Like once again, like I always get people who ask for freezer things like in terms of workplace. So it's a good example. If you're still in this workplace and you have to deal with this coworker or boss or supervisor, you don't want to let that thaw. You want to just keep that shit right on in there. Now, if you decide to change jobs, that will be the perfect time to take it out of the freezer and, put it in the trash. I feel like someone's done something to me. I would say take a cleansing bath. Put some bleach in it. Take a cleansing bath. To add some bleach, add some salt, add some lemons, add some limes. You know what I mean? Like get yourself clear, or simply go to the river and get yourself in there. I mean, I'm gonna always recommend the river is great. You know what I mean? River is great for just reversing things and cleansing in general. Can you put multiple things in the same bag? I wouldn't do that. Not at all. If you have multiple things, they all need their own bags because they're all their own energies. You don't want to mix and mingle with those things. You want to make sure that they have separate bags because they're separate energies, separate entities. Beach. What about the beach? Can you go to the beach, you mean? You talking about for the ocean water. Oh heck yeah. Like if you live near an ocean, that's even better for any kind of cleansing, healing. Um, I've had quite a few clients who have had issues being cursed or hexed or even healing or shaking addictions, whatever the case may be. Um, Possession, like going to the ocean and getting in the water, baby. There's nothing like it. Getting in some ocean water will do it. How do you if you First of all, if it's something like really, really deep, you're gonna have to seek somebody if you want to remove like a real deal curse. But if you can't do that, I'm gonna always recommend take yourself down to a river or go to an ocean and get in. And if you gotta pay money to go to an ocean, baby, I say go to an ocean. Let me remind you too, if you're gonna go to a river or ocean, you wanna make sure that you leave an offering behind. Okay, and a way to tell the water spirits, thank you for, adding, to my life. Thank you for taking these things, these negativity, these shadows away from my life. So leave an offering. Offering can be honey, it can be flowers, it could be cigar, it could be a prayer, it could be a song, um, it could be fruit. There's lots of different things you can offer, to the water as a way of saying thank you. But to remove a curse, I would say reach out to somebody. But let's just say you're not in a financial place to do that. Go to a river, go to an ocean, or get in a bath. put a cap or two of bleach in your bath water along with some salt, along with some fresh lemons and some fresh lime. Don't get the lime juices in a bottle. Get fresh lemon and lime and squeeze that into your bath. There we go, deeper. I was like, oh, now I'm out. Yeah, giving offerings is just like a powerful way of just telling the spirits, thank you. Just thank you for helping. Thank you for being there. It's one of the things I learned growing up. Like, my big mama used to say, like, don't go to nobody's house empty handed. Because if you going into somebody's house, you're receiving their energy. So, make sure that you return the favor. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing when you're dealing with, spirits, the spirits of the water, spirits of the forest, just spirits or spirits that you're working with, entities, deities, loas, goddesses, gods. You want to make sure your ancestors, you want to make sure that you're offering something. Even like I said, even if it's a prayer, you know what I mean? A few words, affirmation, some fruit, some food, some alcohol, some coffee, some flowers. I don't care if you went and picked a flower from somewhere, a weed, whatever it is. It's just the energy of saying thank you. So if you are using anything in nature at all, you want to leave some kind of offering behind. How long to leave the offering out? You saw on your altar. If you have an offering on your altar, you don't want to leave it on your altar no more than 2 days. But if you're offering something out in nature, you can just leave it there and just go. But if it's your personal altar, it should be on your altar no more than 2 days. Okay, you're not gonna feed your family 2 day old food on a plate out on the kitchen table, right? Don't do that to your ancestors either. 2 days and make sure you dispose of it. You can put it under a tree or just put it in the trash. But if you're out in nature, you can just leave your offering there and, nature will do what it needs to do with it. What is something the ladies can do for Hoodoo Month? What have you done, unless it's private? Well, one of the things I would say, like we started off with, I would say if you have not created an altar, you can create an altar. Already, I have a whole bunch of altars, so that's not something that I did. But one of the things that I do like to do, I like to do this because that's just me. I went to one of this very small. There's a museum here in Georgia. Not many people know about. It's literally like in the backwoods of Georgia. Like it's when I say it's in the backwoods, it's in the backwoods. It was a very racially charged area at one point in time. So I like to visit spots like that, like during Hoodoo Heritage Month. Sometimes I'll go and visit the plantation. But this year I went to this museum. It's a very small museum. It's created by the slaves. And I went in there, I prayed, I looked around, I left offerings, I walked the land. I talked to some of the spirits that inhabited the land. I learned about the history. This is probably like an hour out from me. Like I said, when I say it's in the backwoods of Georgia, it looked like there should be no colored people over there. Um, so I just went out there to commune with those spirits. I even took the time to learn about some of the herbs that grew over there. I picked a few herbs and I thanked the herbs I left for offering behind. But that's one of the things I like to do. Last year I went to a plantation here in Georgia. And I went there, I just walked the land, talked to the spirits of the land, left some offering behind, cried a few tears for them, also danced for them. So that's one of the things that you can do for Hoodoo Heritage Month is understanding um, some of the spirits in your area, or even just taking the time to understand your ancestry. Like talk to your mother about your great great grandma. You know what I mean? Like look into your family tree a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, or just taking the time to commune with some of your ancestors. Like, these are like very simple ways of honoring Hoodoo Heritage Month. Like, understand the spirits in your neighborhood, the history of the spirits in your neighborhood. I'm from Georgia, so there's a lot here. Um, going into your family line, going into your bloodline a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, if there's an Uncle Willie in your family, like, what did Uncle Willie like? You know what I mean? Like learn about some of the gifts that your family had because sometimes people that are gifted, that shit runs in your family. You know what I mean? So like really understand like what's flowing through your blood is a way of honoring your ancestors. So this is also a way to, I know we like the spells and the tips and the tricks, but these are very grounded ways to honor our ancestors and honor Hoodoo Heritage Month. Is just knowing what's flowing in your blood, knowing some of your DNA, knowing your bloodline a little better, learning about your ancestors, or just taking the time to learn. Everybody has somebody in their family that uh, takes note of history. You know what I mean? There's always somebody that's bookkeeping. I have somebody in my family. I know I can call him and ask about, okay, so who was this cousin on my father's side? He's able to tell me. So we have a conversation about that. Everybody has somebody. It's a great time to just learn about your family tree. You can learn about some of the gifts you have. You can learn about some of the patterns, some of the destructive patterns that you have that you can now learn to work with and transmute. Like, so learn about your family line. What's the name of the museum? It's actually in, I can't remember the name of it. It's in Noonan. So look it up. It's in Noonan. It's very, very small. It's not a lot, but it's the only one in that area. So if you look up African American museum in Noonan. Was it Noonan or Palmetto? They're right next to each other. I think it's Noonan. No, it is Noonan. If you look it up, it'll come right up. I can't think of the name. I'm not good with remembering names, but if you look it up, it'll come right up. Yep, it's in Noonan. And so yeah, that's my first time there. Actually, did a ceremony out there before, and I know it's like loaded with a lot of, the land has a lot of trauma, so it was kind of cool to go back to that land and go back to, and they're only open one day of the week, so make sure you um 1 or 2 days. I think it was I don't remember what day it went, but it's only open one day a week. So you have to make sure you look at the website to see what day it is. And take some offerings with you if you're gonna go and check it out. So so that's one way to just honor Hoodoo Heritage Month. Understanding your ancestry, or taking a walk in the forest, talk to the spirits, talk to your spirits, talk to your ancestors. Create an altar, you know what I mean? Like burn a candle, you know? Communing with the elements, the spirits of the elements, the spirit of the rain, the spirit of the forest, the spirit of the forest, the spirit of the river. Um, Start to, when you are making food, like talk to your food. You know what I mean? Like cook with love, cook with the energy of prosperity. You know what I mean? Like, well, some of the songs that your ancestors, you feel like they may have sung or danced to, play that while you're cooking. Like, these are very basic Hoodoo principles. Cooking with intention is a very, very basic Hoodoo principle. That's how some of our ancestors were able to get a lot of things done, just through the form of cooking and adding the energy of magic and protection and prosperity and healing and chaos, whatever it is, into the food. Very simple, very powerful way to do what you need to do. So yes, Hoodoo Heritage Month. Tomorrow when you go to make dinner, or even tonight, like put on some music. Cook with intention. Okay? Like whatever herbs you're using, look up the properties of that and just cook with intention. This is Hoodoo. This is the work. Or like I said, in a lot of ways we're already doing it. We just need to add the extra intention to it. So yeah. Y'all, I'm hungry. Speaking of food, like I'm like big hungry. I've been fasting today. There were two additional questions above, I think got missed. Let me see. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Cover count. Yep, 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 yep. Go visit it, y'all, please. Yep, it's a cool little place. Like I said, it's not that big. It's not that big, but it's a cool little place. I'm trying to see the two questions I missed. Oh, why is it sometimes I'll see bubbles in their water and sometimes I don't? So the bubbles in the water is a clear way of you knowing that these spirits or these ancestors are utilizing the water. It's as simple as that. The water is being used, it's being utilized. Okay, so that's why the bubbles form. And if the bubbles don't form, it doesn't mean they're not utilizing it. It's just those days that the bubbles do form, there's just an overabundance of that energy being used. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's doing what it needs to do with circulating. Like I said, when the bubbles aren't there, That just means it's a very subtle day. The energy isn't high that day. But the bubbles just means the energy's high. They're really utilizing that water. They're really coming through with the water. And if you see that, that also says like the communication, the stream of communication is like really, really open. So when you see that, like take the time to do some extra communicating with them. Do some extra offerings, do offerings, do some extra prayers because the energy is just really, really high. So that's why you're seeing the bubbles in the water. No color. I'm not sure what you were asking. No color. Colored what? What advice do you have for working with certain spirits when it comes to practicing and doing offerings? What advice do you have for working with certain spirits? Now, when it comes to working with certain spirits, like that's kind of like up to you. You know what I mean? Like it depends on if you feel drawn to certain spirits, like if there's certain ancestors, let's just say you had an Aunt Lulu, you know what I mean? Like you feel really, really drawn. I would say you work with that. Or let's just say one of the spirit, like one of the Loas or one of, Yemonja or Urza Lee. Let's just say you feel really, really attracted to Urza Lee. Let's just say Urza Lee is showing up in your life or you keep feeling that energy or seeing it everywhere. Now that's the time to start making offerings to that particular spirit. But I only recommend that if you feel the urge to, that particular spirit will make itself known to say, hey, like, I need some offerings. And a lot of ways they do that is they show up or the name keeps coming up. Or let's just say you're online, you keep seeing the name of this particular spirit or deity, or they usually show up and they'll tell you when it's time for you to build a relationship with them. You just know it. So, and when they do show up, they kind of point you to the offerings that they want from you, and that happens in various ways, whether it's through dreams or sometimes you can be in a store and just feel drawn to a particular food that you know that you don't eat. That particular deity could be asking for that food or that drink. Oh yeah, at the museum. What advice do you have for working with certain spirits when it comes to um yeah, like I said, when it comes to work with certain spirits, like I it's just you have to feel drawn to it. You like it's something that you have to feel led to do. Let's just say you feel really, really drawn to Oshun. And if you feel led to work with Oshun, she's going to show up. And so you have to now discern what offerings she wants. And some of the typical things, some stuff you can look online to see sometimes, but I would suggest you just kind of go with your intuition and allow that deity or that spirit to guide you because Oshun may not want Oshun likes honey, but she may want apples from you. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't just go totally off of what's on the internet because Oshun could want something different from you. So when it comes to working with certain deities and offerings, like when they show up and they want your attention, they'll get it. It's as simple as that. I won't work with anything that you didn't feel led to work with. Don't just pick a random person and work with them. They'll call you when it's time. Trust me. When they want your attention, they will let you know. Do you feel you have to be initiated to work? Nope. Nope, not at all. You can work with certain deities and you don't have to be initiated. Now, there's certain kind of work that you can't do if you're not initiated. And the thing is, you won't have access to that work if you're not initiated. So I won't even worry about it. But once again, it's one of those things like, like even Yemoja, you don't have to be initiated into anything to work with her. If she calls you to work with her and she'll tell you, you know what I mean? Like Ogun, you know what I mean? Like if you feel led to work with Ogun, he's going to show up for you and let you know that okay, let's build something. Like let's work together. I need these offerings from you, but Ogun will show up to let you know that. Okay? Ogun is really, really powerful. He's not one of the main deities that I work with, but when he does come through, boy, very strong energy. I love Ogun energy. Man, I love it when he comes through. But they'll let you know. You know what I mean? Like it's not one of those things you can just pick. And no, you don't have to be. It is shocking if you're not. What's up with you, baby? Huh? That's my daughter. So, you don't have to be initiated, for that. But like I said, there's certain kind of works that you can't do, but you won't have access to that anyway if you're not initiated. There's no way you would know about that. So I really would. So I have really crazy neighbors. They have worked very hard to get me. They find out I want to move, but it doesn't manage to make sense. Do I need their first? I would say yes. I would get their names. I'll read their names, and even if you can't get their last name or whatever name you can get of theirs, I would get it. Um, or even their address. Even having their address would suffice if you don't have their names. You can use their address. You know what I mean? Like something that you know that represents them. If you got their address, use it. Or even if you just have a first name, use it. A picture, you can use it. Or if you just have a last name, you can use that too. Yep, look on the mail. There's, look on the mailbox. You can use that. You don't have to have their names per se, as long as you have something that represents them. Um, for them, so to me several times. I'm trying to go to sleep. Now, that's a great way to know that that particular deity is looking for your attention. You know what I mean? Spirit was a matter. Like this happens. It's just a matter of just paying attention, y'all. They show up when they want you. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things you could just pick. Like when they want you, they gonna show up and you gonna know. You gonna know without a shadow of a doubt. You will know. And sometimes they do like to show up in dreams. A lot of times they do. They really and animals too. They show up in animals too. A lot of times, but for dreams, people are usually better at interpreting when certain deities show up in dreams. From what I've noticed. Yes, girl. Let me tell you, I am like big hungry. Okay, big hungry. Y'all were fun. I had a good time with y'all. You're welcome. You're welcome. I like in dreams are helping remember. Get you some mugwort tea. Get you some mugwort tea, and also create a bedtime ritual. You know what I mean? Like go to bed at the same time every night. Take a shower before you go to bed. Light a candle before you go to bed. Just create a nighttime ritual every night. You know what I mean? And be consistent with it. Surprisingly, I don't know why it helps, but it helps with your dream and your sleep life. But mugwort tea and lavender is top tier for dreams. So just using regular mugwort and add a little lavender, like it helps, and creating a bedtime routine and being consistent with it really gets the dreams going because your body is you're allowing your body to actually rest. You know what I mean? On a consistent basis at a certain time. Now your body is now used to going to bed at a certain time. It can now rest. So yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you, Army. I appreciate you introducing me to your wonderful audience. It's been fun. I enjoyed you guys. It's been good. I thought I was going to be overwhelmed on here, but I was able to keep up pretty good. Enjoy the rest of Hoodoo Heritage Month, y'all. Have fun. Go create altars, do some magic. Okay, add some magic to your food. Okay, take some baths, light some candles. Have fun, y'all. Good. And y'all got all of my social media and stuff too, y'all. Yeah, freeze them. Put Sally Mae up in the freezer, girl. Okay, put them bills up in there. Put them bills up in there. You're welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Yeah, I would love to come back anytime. I can talk about this all night. And we just at the tip of the iceberg. Okay. There's so much to learn and to share. Yes. We'll have to have like a real one on one conversation because, Ermi, you got a lot going on, man. Like, some of your spirits are funny and beautiful. Like, I can tell, like, you have a very big energy, and I like your energy a lot. Like, you got a lot of good spirits. I'll say that, but they come through very, very strong. Like literally, even when I see you on TikTok, there's one. I'm not about to go into this girl, but there's one particular spirit that's always. Even now, they're ready to chat. They're very chatty, okay, but they're very much present. You got a good team with you. I'll say that. Very good team. Yes. Okay. I'm about to go eat y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. All right. Good night, y'all. I'm about to go. Yeah, we have to have a real conversation. All right, y'all. Good night. Peace. Happy Hoodoo Heritage Month. Have a good weekend, y'all.